Iko Nini. So on Friday kuna vile the president alikuwa on his northeastern tour, and the northeastern tour did not end like the way he'd have loved it to end, because kuna vile alienda pameenda masai za Isiolo, alafu akiwa Isiolo kuna vile like part of the crowd ended up being rowdy, and wasi wakaanza kuchant that Ruto must go, and vile hii news ilifika Nairobi, even for someone like me I was actually surprised, because nilikuwa nimetoka kucheki like how he was received in Mandera, Garissa, and I was like, okay, Wakenya tayari tushasahau. And of course pia one thing about Mandera na Garissa, vile alisema kutakuwa na vetting, this means that even if someone can not prove that their parents were born in Kenya and they themselves were born in Kenya, wanaweza patiwa ID. Vile nilisikia hivyo nilikuwa zile za nimechoka, but
we ukirusha mawe. Salaam alaikum. Poleni sana. I think there is nothing to talk.
If you can actually see Joe, the president iko juu ya gari, Joe anasikia Ruto must go. Alafu don't forget like his whole strategy is akipatiana the fake IDs zile ana plan kupatiana, alikuwa expect that this whole bag ya Isiolo, Garissa, wherever it's locked. So of course there was a certain level of anger that came with this, and it seems that this anger eventually ended up, and his bloggers were told to come out and defend him. And one of the bloggers that was defending him ni msee fulani anajiita Abuga Makori. So Abuga Makori alienda up amepost video, na the video ilikuwa imeandikwa, this is the raw video of President William Ruto at Isiolo. There are no noises. It's sad that some mainstream media were posting a fake video. This year we shall win the fake news war. So the question would be, why would this other woman kwa this other video be saying salam alaikum, trying to calm people down? And also one thing ile lazima note that by the time tunasikia Ruto must go, Ruto himself is not talking. Ukiangalia the video unaweza notice ni kama eka mic chini hivi. So umse akatry to convince that this was the video and there was no other commotion that happened.
Kuna madawa inatoka Ethiopia na mali ingine hapa, na kuna watu conduit, watu ambao wana facilitate hiyo biashara, kuharibu vijana wetu, kuharibu wazee wetu, kuharibu kina mama zetu. I want to say for the avoidance of any doubt, mtu yeyote ambaye anahusika na biashara ya kuuzia watoto wetu madawa ya kulevya atakutana na sheria. Hakuna mtu ambaye tutapembelezana na yeye hapa ati anatupatia Kiingereza na anauzia watoto wetu madawa ya kulevya. That is not going to happen. Tunaelewana jameni? Hawa vijana tunataka tuwasomeshe. Hawa vijana tunataka wafanye biashara. Hawa vijana tunataka waende Tibet wajipange na ajira. Hawa vijana
So let's check hii video ukiwatch. Kuna hii part, and I think what happens is ukipata wasi wamefika level ya Ruto must go, I don't think that was at the beginning. If this was at the beginning, what would have happened is this whole speech would not have happened. So I think wasi walimsikiza, and at some point wase fulani wakaanza kusema uongo. Alafu after hizo uongo ndizo Ruto must go zikatokea. So for this Abuga Makori kukama up na kuanza kutuambia that mainstream media walikuwa wana post a fake video is to be dishonest. But now kuna vile Abuga would have convinced a few people that the other video was fake, till on Sunday headlines zikaanza kutokea. So Nation walikuwa wameseti 43 youths arrested in Isiolo town in crackdown targeting drug peddlers, muggers, illicit brew makers, second generational alcohol dealers, and people found idling past midnight. When did it become illegal to idle past midnight? Yes, in Kenya. And idling past midnight, nikiwa nje tu nafurahia, maybe I'm just watching the stars. Najua, because that's one of the things we deny ourselves as humans, just being out there looking up and enjoying the stars. Now unanishika for idling. But another interesting thing is second generation drug alcohol dealers. What about the first generation ones? Yes. So this headline came out, and I remember nilicheki mseka Kimuzi alikuwa ameandika, so the arrests in the Isiolo arrest ni very true. Ruto is honestly a coward kabisa. Alafu kuna msee alikuwa ameandika, niambie mkopoa, nasikia wanashika wase. then msa akasema the same night walikuwa wanabeba watu mostly mkipatikana in groups, plus kulikuwa na several Subarus roaming around. Abduction siko rada, but kushikwa nayo watu walishikwa. So yes, people were arrested. And Isiolo, when you think about Isiolo and you think about drug abuse, what comes to mind? I think maybe Veve, like Mira, which is legal in Kenya. I don't understand this, but these are the things that end up making the president look bad. Because Umechikivile Nation waliandika in a very good way. Because waliandika 43 youths arrested in Isiolo town in crackdown targeting drug dealers, peddlers, blah blah blah. Standard on the other side walikuwa wameandika 43 youths arrested in Isiolo a day after President Ruto was heckled during his northeastern tour. County Commissioner Oboding says crackdown targets suspected drug traffickers. Umecheki, the keyword ni a day after President Ruto was heckled during his northeastern tour. And remember, when the president was heckled, he started blaming drugs. Hakuwa na believe that he's not popular. And now we hear that people were arrested. And when we hear that people were arrested, we still have to go back to Sunday and the Standard. Ilikuwa the Sunday Standard. Kulikuwa na the headline. Ilikuwa President's Bully. Alafu imeandikwa the Farouk Way. He is President William Ruto's Mr. Fix-It with no official job description and does the job with ruthless precision. However, what some tout as efficiencies, others see as a man who provokes and often leaves a trail of lamentations in his path. His victims are not just the weak and frail, but also the high and mighty in the presence of President William Ruto. Who's this powerful man? So, Farouk, kuna wase nimesikiaga wakisema he's a semi-illiterate, and I have nothing against illiteracy till democracy is involved and you have an illiterate person who thinks that criticism is disrespect. So you'll find someone like Farouk with his limited education atakuwa the sort of person who feels the president should be respected 24/7, and he is allowed to believe that, because without education a lot of people don't make it in life. Najua a lot of people end up struggling kabisa. Education inaitangwa the great equalizer. So now, if you're one of the few lucky people who have made it with limited education, you're going to support the guy who's made it. Make it. Like, you're going to support him wholeheartedly. And you won't want anyone to mess around. And this is the reason why I'd not be surprised. This is sort of guy alipigia, after the president was heckled, alipigia watu, huu mse anaitwa nani, the Northeastern County Commissioner, huo like Omoding alipigiwa, ama ni Isiolo County Commissioner, kampuni aje buda, I need you to round up say wote. Yes, I need people to be arrested. These people cannot disrespect the president. And when such a thing happens, it ends up being counterproductive, because what ends up happening is people end up saying, you know what, the president has such a thin skin. You know what, the president does not believe in democracy. The president does not believe in freedom of expression. So you end up doing the opposite of what you are trying to do. You end up achieving the wrong things. And the wrong thing that's being achieved right now is the president is becoming more unpopular. Anyone who had any doubts about Isiolo, saizi anajua that Isiolo happened. And not just that Isiolo happened, wanajua that the president was heckled. And not just that the president was heckled, wanajua kuwa the president was angry after being heckled. And this can only get worse. So it's very hard to convince the president to drop the Farouks and the Sudis, najua. And I'm there wondering, like, there are no other literate people you can have from your tribe if you don't trust all these other tribes. Hakuna mtu yote literate unaweza trust to have next to you to tell you, like, you know what, criticism is part of the game. Let them talk. Let them say all this Ruto must go nonsense. And, just say it's within their rights. I understand why you're angry. Maybe things are not moving at your pace. You can blame ile design ya Trump, blame fake news. You can do all that. But when you start arresting people, it becomes tricky. And now it may happen in Isiolo. and then you ended up arresting people. Do you know what effect this is going to have? The next time you go to another place, expect more hecklers and expect Farouk to call the county commissioner to ambie get that person arrested, and then this cycle will just continue. And what is going to happen is between now and 2027, Kenyans will get more and more angry, and before you know it, no matter how many fake Kenyans, and I'm going to put fake in quotes, you bring in, and how many times you claim that census ilikuwa fake and part of the population ilikuwa pushed down. Why would someone try to push down the population of Northeastern? Najua, like it would make sense to say population ya Nyanza ilikuwa pushed down because Nyanza has always been anti-government. We can't say that Northeastern has always been 100% anti-government. So that math is not mathing. But yes, these arrests za Isiolo are only going to make the president more unpopular. But the president will never realize this because next to him are people who will always tell him what he wants to hear. Najua. And hii inatukumbusha the famous story of the king and the invisible cloth, aka the king is naked. Iko Nini.